Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm John F. Gately, broadcasting to you from Plymouth, America's hometown in Massachusetts. And I'm back with another show for you today. My earlier show this morning at about noon, almost noon, it won't render or process with YouTube. So it's there, but I can't download it. And I was going to chop it up into a little bit. Anyways, let's get started with the second show of the day and just bring this up here for you. I want to talk about what's happening in Washington. Our first story this afternoon is going to be in Washington, talking about the balloon, right? The very exciting balloon. And I want to hold on. This is really not going to be about the balloon, but I really consider the balloon a type of drone. Actually, I got my own drone right here with me this afternoon. This is manufactured by DJI. DJI, they're the leading drone manufacturer, especially for consumers. And it's been kind of surprising to me that we haven't seen DJI mentioned. At least I haven't seen it mentioned in any of the news stories that have come out in the last week or two about the drone. But when I look at the drone, I first thought of this type of drone. And I mean, the technology that makes this work and the balloon, I don't really think are that far from each other in reality. So, not that I'm a science expert or anything like that. But today, according to CNN, and I'm not really buying this, but U.S. officials disclosed new details about the balloon's capabilities. Here's what we know. By the way, this also kind of proves that we probably should have shot down the drone the second we saw it, that it was going to cross over to the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. But that's a video for another day, I guess. And many people have already said that and agree with me on that one. We should have shot it down right away. Biden administration's disclosed new information Thursday about the capacities or capabilities of the suspected Chinese surveillance balloon. Why are we still calling it the suspected? I mean, come on, CNN. That transversed the United States last week, and what they are learning as the FBI begins to analyze it, blah, blah, blah. After it was shot down Saturday, after it already crossed the entire country. U.S. officials also detailed what they discovered about the broader spying operation that they say Chinese got. Why are they burying the lead? The lead here is that it had the ability to transmit information back to China, and that the balloon that we all are aware of is part of a fleet of balloons that China's been using to surveil like up to 40 countries. This is not new to them. And I mean, I don't know. It was not new to the to anybody. I don't know even why. I guess this hearing is just kind of like to confirm what we already know. What I thought was even more interesting is this article over at Defense One. China gears up to shoot down U.S. drones. Its military industrial complex is already working on a list of technologies needed to fight off swarms of drones. So have you seen those things where the drones coordinate? Last one I thought I saw was in Philadelphia. Maybe they had it like over the Rocky statue or something. And maybe it was because of the football team, the Eagles, who are playing in the Super Bowl this weekend. And I thought they had like a choreographed, like a couple of hundred of these things choreographed over the Rocky statue, all moving in some type of pattern to support the football team, the Eagles or whatever. And kind of like how you see a flock of birds or fish all swim together. And that's very impressive. Then you think, well, what if we kind of weaponized that? Then that's freaking scary. But that's probably what the United States is doing, thankfully. It makes me feel better that we're doing it. But our new war, coming to a war near you, will most likely be a laser drone battle where the lasers are designed to shoot down the drones. And, well, you get the idea. The simple fact of that are most of our defenses are anti-aircraft. They're designed to shoot a tank or to shoot a plane down out of the sky, or shoot one plane to another plane, or one ship to another ship, or ship to. They're big. The scale is big, but these little suckers, they're not big. And if they're weaponized, well, you get the idea. You can kind of sneak them in. Drones continue to move forward towards the center of U.S. warfare, emerging as a major spending priority. Network drone swarms provide prove decisive in recent Air Force simulation on a battle of the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan, excuse me. They broke through China's anti-access area denial efforts defenses and ensured a U.S. victory, according to RAND's David Ochimek. Not for nothing, but shouldn't we just keep that fact that we ran a simulation in the Chinese Strait of Taiwan, and we won using drones? Shouldn't we kind of keep that? I don't know. It would seem like that should be something that we keep secret. Anyways, the Chinese have a LW-30 laser defense system, which is a vehicle-mounted drone killer. It's a laser. So this war is this arms race is already developing. It's already developing. It's just a matter of time. In this article down here, further here, they mention that where the heck did that go? That they're already using basically drones in the Ukraine conflict with Russia, and also in the Armenian-Azerbaijani war. These things are already being kind of tried out, and you get kind of the sense that in a way that these trial runs are practice for something bigger. In the same way that the Spanish Civil War was a way for the Nazis to show off their blitzkrieg, right? And they used that to tremendous effect when the war expanded. I kind of get the sense that this is where we're at with the drones right now, and that's incredibly scary. And so drones come in, obviously, as I said, in different shapes and sizes. Sometimes they're this big, what seems to be harmless balloon, but that giant balloon could be doing the reconnaissance for this little sucker. You would already think that China had fairly decent satellite imagery of our military bases up in the upper Midwest, or the upper West, or whatever you want to call it, Wyoming, which I love, and Montana, which I've only been to once, for one day, or even like a half a day. But maybe they needed more detailed surveillance so they could understand where to fly these suckers. That's, I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong, but coming to a war near you, lasers and drones, Ukraine is just the starting point. All right. Let's move on to our next story, which is actually just now breaking. We will use the CNN, heaven forbid, headline here. SpaceX admits to blocking Ukrainian, that was attractive, troops from using satellite technology. Let's find out what SpaceX is up to. President of SpaceX revealed the company has it's flickering for some reason. I wonder why. Oh, sorry about that. Don't want to disconnect that, but okay, it's flickering. Let's go back. The president of SpaceX has revealed the company has taken active steps to prevent Ukrainian forces from using this critical Starlink technology with Ukrainian drones that are a component of their fight against Russia. There are things that we can do to limit their ability to do that, Gwen Shotwell told reporters, referencing the reports on Starlink and drone use. There are things that we can do, and we have done. What does that mean? The president of SpaceX revealed that the company has taken active steps to prevent Ukrainian forces from using the critical Starlink satellite technology. Uh, Is okay. So Gwen Shotwell has basically said we're shutting it down and we can limit Ukrainian usage. Starlink was never meant to be a military tool in a way that it has. Shotwell argued. What a name, Shotwell. We're talking about a war. Saying the company didn't foresee how profoundly and creatively Ukrainian forces would rely upon the technology. So, as you release these types of things, these capacities, people find ways to use it that you might not. Well, the cat's out of the bag. Shotwell's admission that SpaceX, which was founded by Elon Musk, has prevented Ukrainian soldiers from using the technologies. It's Elon Musk's technologies. The Ukrainian soldiers don't have a right to use it. Confirms the longstanding belief that Musk and the company are uneasy with Ukraine's military use of Starlink. I would be, yeah. I'm skeptical of the entire Ukrainian, at least the United States involvement in the Ukraine war. And I understand that Matt Gaetz and maybe some others have now issued some type of resolution to cut back on that funding. We'll see where that goes. Speaking with the reporters after, Shotwell argued that Starlink had sent units to Ukraine to keep the banks going, hospitals, and keep families connected. Okay, so like for humanitarian stuff. We know the military is using them for communications, and that's okay, but our intent was never to have them use it for offensive purposes. Ooh. That does get my attention. Offensive purposes. Supposedly, all of the U.S. involvement is supposed to just to be able to defend Ukrainian territory, not to be offensive into Russian territory, not to strike locations in Russia. But Shotwell seems to be inferring here that Starlink is basically being used to strike into Russia. Last October, Musk angered Ukrainians. Oh, how dare they, including President Zelensky. Oh, too bad. For proposing a peace plan on Twitter that would have argued Ukraine just give up efforts to reclaim Crimea and cede. So basically, Ukrainians, give us our Starlink and shut the bleep up. You must give it. We have a right to use yours. No, you don't. That same month, there were reports that Starlink signal had been restricted and was not available past the front line for troops to advance. Way to go once again to Elon Musk for seeing what's really happening here is that they're using your communications technology to advance the war or the Ukrainian side of it, which is also connected into drones, which, of course, is coming to a war near you, as we said. Whew. Can't make this stuff up, can you? Let's go to our next story. Could a red light district legalized in San Francisco cause any problems? What could go wrong if they legalize prostitution in San Francisco? This is from the LA Times. Could a red light district for sex work happen in San Francisco? As San Francisco prepares to block vehicle traffic from a stretch of Mission District this month in an attempt to stifle street prostitution, the idea of creating a designated district for sex work is gaining traction among some advocates and officials. If you have to set up a pedestrian-only district to cut back on the oldest profession, then maybe you don't legalize it. Maybe that's an admission that we have too much of this. And if you legalize it, it'll be everywhere, at least within that district. So what street, what couple of blocks are you going to ruin with this type of legalization? It's just never ending, the stupidity of these leftists. It's insane. I can't even go on. There's been a lot of talk about the legalization of marijuana in California, especially in light of the incredibly damaging, how do we want to say this, cartel style violence that has been recently kind of flaring up. We had this awful killing. Here's California sheriff blames cartel shooting on state soft on crime approach. And of course, legalizing prostitution is kind of like akin to that. The California sheriff is blaming the cartel style murders of 6 people on what he says is the state's soft on crime approach to law and order. So what is he especially referring to is a mother and her 10-year-old baby among the 6 who died in an execution style shootings. County Sheriff Mike Boudreau said it was an awful, horrific crime where the cartel basically executed their victims in a targeted manner. I read another article and then I had to look it up to double check it for myself. But one of the reasons why, geography has a lot to do with it, and certainly the climate and all that other good stuff. But running an illegal grow field in California under Proposition 64, which I believe passed in 2016, is now just a misdemeanor offense for most individuals, no longer a felony. For adults between the ages of 18 and 20, cultivation between 1 and 6 marijuana plants is an infraction punishable by a $100 ticket. For adults over the age of 18, cultivation of more than 6 plants is a misdemeanor punishable by 6 months in county jail and $500 fine, or both. In other words, if you're a cartel, it's effectively legal, right? A cartel will throw somebody in jail and $500. That's just the cost of doing business. That's just slap on the wrist. That's all it is. So why would you think if you did this for marijuana and you get cartel violence, why would you think if you legalized prostitution, things would go better in downtown San Francisco? Now, I remember I took my family to San Francisco. Trying to just remember, that was 2018. I lost track. And we spent the day there. We were all over California. 2018. Anyway, it was a great trip. And we also went to Santa Monica. I think it was 2018. And this was before things really fell apart. I mean, definitely in Santa Monica, we saw some rampant homelessness, but it wasn't that bad. It got really bad in a couple of years thereafter. And why would anyone think that making making prostitution legal in some part of downtown San Francisco would be a good idea? I mean, the only thing that I think of is this photo. Some of you might recognize it from The Wire, right? That's Bunny Colvin in the white shirt. He's the police official who's scouting out parts of Baltimore to make drugs legal, right? Yeah. How did that work? It didn't. Sadly, it didn't. Great TV show, by the way. If you've never seen it, The Wire, focusing on Baltimore and the drug business and how everybody is wrapped up into it one way or the other, from the elected officials all the way down to the local street dealer. Great show, The Wire. All right. That brings us to our last story this afternoon, which is about God. And over in the United Kingdom, they want to make God gender neutral. So I guess no more Our Father, can't say that anymore, including the prayer, like one of the most fundamental prayers of Christianity, Our Father, right? That is somehow non-inclusive. We have to have gender neutral terms, according to the Church of England, right? Church of England, to launch Pronoun Project. There's God there. Increasingly woke Church of England is set to begin a project looking into more gender-neutral language for God in order to supposedly create a more inclusive understanding of the deity. Bishops at the Church of England are planning on launching a project on gendered language, surrounding God later this year, which would see phrases like "Our Father" scrapped in favor of neutral or feminine alternatives. So I guess it's okay to refer to God as a feminine deity, but not a masculine deity. No, not at all. Excuse me. Some within the church have claimed that associating God with men has resulted in sexism within the religion. Oh, look at that ad. Marxist roots of critical race theory. Hillsdale College. Yeah, buy it. I think that's a good ad. The latest woke endeavor was spurred by a request of Joanna Stobart, who asked church leaders if there was a way to develop more inclusive language in our authorized liturgy. I'm guessing Joanna Stobart is one of these communist people that have also wormed their way into religious life. She went to ask bishops. Oh, she's just casually asked them to provide more options for those who wish to use the authorized liturgy and speak of God in a non-gendered way, particularly in an authorized absolutions where many prayers are offered for use to refer to God using male pronouns. In response, the Right Reverend Ipgrave, Bishop of Lichfield and Vice Chairman of the Commission, said, "We have been exploring the use of gendered language in relation to God for several years in collaboration with the Faith in Order Commission." I can't even go on anymore. Just make it stop, Jack. Please make it stop. I feel like ending this broadcast with the prayer of Our Father, but I won't. You can do it later. Maybe I will too. But the insanity never stops. I was really happy to see, and I don't have this up here to share with you, but Christopher Rufo, once again, spilling the beans on DEI and critical race theory. This time his target, I believe this afternoon, was it the University of Southern Florida? I think it was. University of Southern Florida. Just want to get this quote up here, get this right from Christopher F. Rufo, University of Southern Florida. And most of the documents are some stuff you've already seen. In fact, when I read them over, they were very eerily similar to the type of documents that I saw that the town of Plymouth was using in the public schools here in Plymouth that I wrote a blog post about in October of 2021. That effectively, once you go through the process of becoming an anti-racist leader, effectively the last step of that stage is activism, revolution, effectively. Because all of this leads to their control, communism. But by the way, I don't know. I mean, I saw that U.S. House of Representatives vote a couple of days ago, a week ago, whatever it was, condemning socialism. But the only difference between socialism and communism is how you spell the word. That's it. All right. So from America's hometown, I'm John F. Gately here in beautiful Plymouth, Massachusetts, behind enemy lines. Have a great day.